guys, and welcome back to my nodal series. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be talking about the North Node within the sign of Gemini, meaning that you're automatically going to have your South Node in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, I have talked about North Node in the sign of Sagittarius, South Node in Gemini, but of course naturally it's the opposite way. First and foremost though, for more information all about the nodes within astrology, then please be sure to check out my introduction video. And I would also like you to keep in mind that the nodes are strongly connected with karma and past lives, and for the purpose of this series I will be addressing them as so. Now I'm going to be going into this rather directly, so discussing these placements rather directly, but please guys, do not take everything I say as absolute truth or set in stone. And if you don't believe in past lives, then just try to look at your South Node as your younger years and then your North Node as you grow older. However, if you are interested in karma, then yeah, I made a video all about karma, so I'll put a link to that video somewhere and you can check it out. Okay, North Node in Gemini, let's do this. Let's get into this. We're going to start off by discussing your South Node in Sagittarius. So where are you coming from? The first thing to be aware of North Node in Gemini is that your past life could have played out in two very different ways. But whichever way it played out, it had one common theme. And that was seeking the truth. And this is because your South Node in Sagittarius shows us that you were on a philosophical journey. The first way in which this played out was independently, where you pursued the truth on your own. You were a wandering nomad in the desert. You were a hermit who set off into the wilderness to learn all of nature's secrets. But the other way in which this could have played out, with you seeking the truth, was done as a collective ideal, where you became absorbed by religious organizations. Though either way, you wanted to search for the truth. You wanted to enhance your life through spirituality. You wanted to establish where your morals and ethics were. And it was this search for enlightenment that motivated your entire life, all while society and human relationships, they were set to the side. You were just this free spirit, kind of like the horse from Spirit, stallion of the Cimarron, is that how it's pronounced? If you have not watched that movie, by the way, I highly recommend that you watch it. It actually tells the story of a wild stallion who loses his family and he tries to be tamed by cowboys. But this horse totally stood his ground and he refused. He refused to be fenced in. Plus, guys, the soundtrack is amazing. It's Bryan Adams, and Bryan Adams is just, ah. So yes, North Node in Gemini, it was you who could never be fenced in a past life as you move from one place to the next. But whilst you search for enlightenment, I was about to say entitlement there, they're different. Whilst you search for enlightenment, whilst you traveled extensively, you became addicted to this finding of you, because it was finding your purpose in a past life that meant so much to you. You might possibly have lived a life as a philosophical king. You might have been a preacher, strongly connected to a religion of some sort. You might have been a spiritual teacher, whilst you left everyone around you to pursue truth as well. However, North Node in Gemini, what you must realize is that whilst you set off on journey after journey, quest after quest, exhibition after exhibition, in the end, you become isolated and lonely. In fact, it's self-righteousness that can be your biggest block in this life, which can stop you from effectively relating with other people and from feeling a state of peace and calm and knowing that you do relate with another person. See, it's due to your preacher, philosophical teacher qualities that other people followed your guidance. You were used to being right without question. So it's this same level of arrogance that you might bring into this life. And if other people so much as sniff this I know all attitude from you in this life, they just might not be as willing to listen. And if this happens, you might start to feel as if other people are undermining your intelligence, that they don't appreciate this about you. And this right here is the beginning of communication problems between you and others. What might even happen is you could open a line of communication with someone by simply saying, "Hey, how's it going?" And of course the other person will gladly tell you how it's going with them, right? But the moment that the ball is passed on into your court, when they ask you, "How about you?" What do? You take this as an opportunity and you run with it. You run with it as far as Spirit ran with his heart in that damn stallion movie. You go on and on about everything that's happening in your life. You start recounting your memories. You tell a zillion stories. But with every memory and story you tell, you'll always emerge as this hero in each one. And the other person won't even get a single word in. You might not even take a single breath at that either. And due to the fact that you simply couldn't care less about what the other person has to say, they lose interest. Yes, North Node in Gemini, after a previous life of being lonely and isolated whilst you sat on your mountaintop, you feel the need to talk constantly now. You might not even be all that comfortable with silence. You want to relate to other people, so if there is a moment of silence in the interaction, you might feel as if there's an issue going on. So in order to stop this from happening, you just talk for the sake of talking. You just talk, simply to fill the void. But what you're learning is that conversation is a process of skillful interactions. It has to do with sharing one point of view with a type of sensitivity to how the other person is hearing it. It's about invitation. It's about feedback. So why not try asking other people questions about their lives from time to time? In fact, by others sharing their point of view with you, it can be really helpful to you know? And I know how I said that you might not take a single breath. Well, try to think of conversation as breathing, because breathing involves inhale, exhale. Just like the nodes in astrology represent the input and output, meaning that both are relatively necessary. Therefore, it's understanding that both parties should have the chance to speak their truth. North Node in Gemini, recognize that your insights are often powerful, accurate solutions, and when you speak them in a non-dramatic way, the punch of the idea will be really heard. It's about giving credit to other people who display signs of intelligence and trust that you will recognize the truth without trying to cram it down other people's throats. Now, I understand that you're not used to talking, but it's still about learning to be patient with yourself and others in working out these problems within communication that I've been talking about. So yeah, just try stepping back for a moment by listening to what is really being said. This is because you have the tendency to just rush into the next thing, into the next word that you want to say without listening to what another person is saying in the first place. And all this does is it causes frustration between you and the other person. Say your friend could really do with your advice or your help. Instead of listening to what it is they need help with, you hear what you want to hear. And then you provide an inappropriate answer. Your friend is like, that's not even what I meant. But if you just stop to listen to the problem fully, you can really help your friend. In fact, you might not be aware of just how impactful your guidance is. Another thing, North Node in Gemini, is like I said, your freedom was very important to you. And so in this life, your subconscious is like, I need to get away from it all. I need to break free. I want to break free. But it's important that you press the stop button on that damn song, because if this is playing in the back of your mind, you might just go off on your own and think you feel so free. But then suddenly you realize that you're really just quite lonely. You might even get into a relationship and develop an actual rapport with this person. Then next thing, the song goes on. I want to break free. Off you go, just like a day at the races. So what do you do if this happens? Well, it's about opening up a line of communication between you and the other and telling them honestly. Hey, so to tell you the truth, on one hand, I want to stay, but on the other hand, I'm afraid that if I get super close, I won't be able to do the things that I want to do on my own that I need to do. Now, however your partner responds is completely up to them, but at least you were honest. And besides, I personally think it's healthy to have things that we enjoy doing on our own when in a relationship. It just seems that so many of us stop what we love doing because of being in a relationship. But this doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It's about communicating these things with the other person from the very, very beginning. Honestly, guys, this right here is a huge lesson that I've been learning when it comes to relationships, and it's to do with starting them off with complete honesty. So from the get-go, being very clear, very open and honest with your partner. And I cannot express this enough, because if you begin a relationship with lies, with shadiness, you're just going to attract more lies and shadiness. Trust me on this. I've experienced this myself firsthand, and it can get really ugly. Therefore, North Node in Gemini, speak with honesty with your partner. Be open. Speak your truth. Another thing here is that you could have been trapped in a religious organization concentrating on truth. That in this life, you have this sort of resisting when it comes to limiting yourself to one thing. You're just very hungry for adventure and for experiencing different kinds of relationships, with working in different jobs, visiting different places. Yet, at the same time, you can have the tendency of being rather envious towards those who settle down to just one job or to have one particular way of living. Because it's this, the grass is always greener on the other side type of attitude, you know? But what you cease to realize here is that you do not know how that person got there, what their story is. But once you take the time to find out, you can experience a connection with that person and relate with that person. What you really want here is to be truly free to pursue truth, to have adventures, to be spontaneous, to be right all the time, and have others understand where you are coming from 100% of the time, so that they can learn from you and appreciate your guidance. But in order to attain this goal, you must stop focusing solely on your truth, but also focus on the other people's around you's truth. So it's about leaving behind tendencies of self-righteousness, thinking that you know what other people are saying without listening, accepting truth without taking others' views into consideration, assuming other people know what you mean, and needing to always be correct. With all of this information in mind then, where are you headed in this life? As we explain your North Node in Gemini, and also what are some steps that you can put in place for yourself in order to head in this direction. Now, I do think that throughout the first section, I did really talk about or touch on a couple of things that you can do, so sort of mix that in there. But another thing that you could do, North Node in Gemini, is by learning to accept the duality, accepting the contradictions in others and accepting the duality of your own nature at that. And this is because in this life, you are learning about human nature in general. And if you think about our existence, it kind of plays on this concept of dualism with man, woman, day, night, low, high, hot, cold. It's these oppositions that can provide us with a better understanding of life because we can see the other side of the coin. So it's about you learning to accept both sides of the coin rather than taking the attitude that, nah, it's just a coin. I know it all anyway. Because what you must understand about this acceptance is that it can also help you accept the contradictory parts of your own nature as well. Meaning that it's okay for you not to know everything all the time, North Node in Gemini. Because when we think we know everything, it blocks us from being open to new information that might improve our understanding on things. As Socrates said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. It's just really good to remember that in this life, you are learning to live successfully in society and that there are plenty of people that you can learn from. And it's recognizing that humility is beneficial because it's humility that allows you to then learn from others and listen to others. Another thing that you can do as well is to consider the motive behind the advice or opinion you're offering, because it's the intention that plays a vital role in how your advice is received ultimately. If your motive is genuinely supporting and loving, naturally the other person will feel this and be open to your input. But if your motive comes off as more judgmental and preachy, no, that other person might just get super defensive. So keep in mind here that if you want to help, think about the intent behind the help you want to provide. Overall, North Node in Gemini, in this life, you are learning to be aware of self-righteousness, which can lead into a trap where you find yourself continuously searching for the truth. Thinking of yourself that if you have all the answers, then everyone will value you. But again, it's impossible to be right all the time. And due to this fact and attitude combined, you'll end up not feeling overly good about yourself. And you don't. You do not want that. You do not want that. Because all this does is it results in others not wanting to connect with you. When in actuality, connecting with others is what you are here for. And so in this life, it's about listening, asking questions to learn how others think, being open to new ideas, developing a healthy curiosity, and seeing both sides of situation. Okay guys, so that concludes my video on the North Node in the sign of Gemini. If you do happen to have your North Node in the sign of Gemini, I would like to know which house it's in, so yes, let us know in the comment section. I also hope that you were able to find this video to be somewhat beneficial. We did get pretty deep in this one, so yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing as always, and if you would like to hear, see, watch, whichever, more videos from me, then go right ahead and click the subscribe button. And I will be back with another video. There's only 2 left. There's only 2 left. Taurus and Aries, we're coming for you. Yeah, I'll be back with another video very, very soon.